Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a topic every modern web dev and technical marketer absolutely has to get right: Next.js SEO. We're going to look at how the app router totally revolutionized the way search engines interact with our applications, from a common developer panic moment all the way to absolute brilliance in search ranking and AI visibility. Let's get right into it.
Okay, picture this. You're building a slick new dynamic route in Next.js 15. You've carefully set up your generate metadata function for your title, description, open graph tags, the whole shebang. You run the local build, check the DOM, and complete panic. Your precious SEO metadata, it's not in the head tag. It is sitting right there in the body. A recent Reddit thread highlighted this exact scenario. A beginner was literally terrified they'd fundamentally misunderstood server versus client components, because no matter what they tweaked, the meta tags just wouldn't go into the head tag during local testing.
Well, the Reddit community quickly jumped in with the answer. And spoiler alert, it's not a bug at all. It's actually a highly intentional, super powerful performance feature. Starting around version 15.2, Next.js changed how it handles the streaming of metadata. It basically looks at the user agent making the request. If it's a regular user, Next doesn't want to block your UI from streaming just to wait for metadata to resolve. So it sends the SEO stuff a tiny bit later, tossing it right into the body. But, and here's the kicker, if you test it with a known crawler bot like Googlebot, the framework halts the stream and properly blocks until that metadata is ready for the head. It's a totally brilliant optimization for speed.
So to really grasp why this happens, we need to look at the big picture of the Next.js architecture. Here's our path to SEO mastery today. 1. App router SEO basics. 2. Mastering rendering strategies. 3. The magic of PPR. 4. Optimizing core web vitals. And finally, 5. Winning the AI search.
Kicking things off with Section 1, App Router SEO Basics.
If you're migrating from the older Pages router, you definitely remember the struggle. Scattered head tags everywhere. It was a massive maintenance headache as the codebase grew, right? You'd constantly end up with duplicate tags or, worse, completely forgotten titles. The app router fundamentally flips the script with a centralized metadata API. You just export a metadata object or a generate metadata function. Next.js automatically merges this across your nested layouts and, thankfully, deduplicates the tags for you. No more forgot to update the title bugs, and it just streams the final HTML using React Server components.
Which brings us to Section 2, Mastering Rendering Strategies.
Now, search engines judge your pages before any client-side JavaScript actually runs, so your rendering choice is absolutely critical. For years, we were stuck compromising. Standard server-side rendering gave us perfectly live data, but a slow initial response because the server had to build the whole page. Or we'd pick static site generation for instant load times, but then our data was stale until the next build. Speed or freshness, it was always a trade-off. But with Next.js PPR, that compromise is officially dead. You get an instant initial response and live data. That is a 5-star SEO rating right there.
So let's get into Section 3, the magic of PPR.
Partial pre-rendering, or PPR, is arguably the most exciting weapon in the Next.js arsenal right now. It treats your rendering tree as a stream rather than a static block of text. During the build, Next generates a lightning-fast static HTML shell. When a request hits, that shell is served instantly. And those holes in your layout that actually need dynamic database data, like a personalized shopping cart, they're wrapped in React Suspense and just stream in the exact moment they're ready.
The business and SEO value here is literally massive. With traditional SSR, heavy backend logic causes huge time-to-first byte delays. Crawlers can actually waste up to 40% of their crawl budget just sitting there, waiting for your database to answer. PPR stops this dead in its tracks. Since the static shell is served instantly, Googlebot can start parsing your site structure in H1 tags while the dynamic data fetches in the background. Experts actually recommend an 80% static content ratio by weight. In serving content instantly like this, it's been shown to drive potential conversion rate bumps of up to 12%.
All right, moving on to Section 4, Optimizing Core Web Vitals.
Serving HTML fast is awesome, but user experience metrics are now table stakes for search rankings. First up, a strict 2.5-second target for largest contentful paint, or LCP. This measures how fast the biggest above-the-fold element, usually a hero image or a massive block of text, becomes fully visible. Oversized, unoptimized images will absolutely wreck this metric.
Next, we have a 200 millisecond threshold for interaction to next paint, INP. This is a vital update because INP officially replaced first input delay. It captures the slowest user input delay from the moment the page loads until it visually changes after a click or tap. Keeping the browser's main thread free is absolutely essential here.
And finally, aim for a target of 0.1 for cumulative layout shift, or CLS. You want your layouts to be rock solid. There is honestly nothing worse for user experience and your SEO score than a page that randomly jumps around as images or ads slowly pop into place.
So, how do we hit these targets? For LCP, always use the Next.js automatic image component. It handles responsive sizing and converts files to lightweight formats like WebP and AVIF automatically. For INP, the TurboPack bundler does a lot of the heavy lifting by dropping dead code through tree shaking. But you've got to manually defer heavy third-party scripts so they don't block the main thread. And for CLS, just specify intrinsic dimensions on your media and preload your web fonts. That way, you avoid that jarring layout shift when a font finishes downloading. Finally, let's talk about Section 5, winning the AI search. We are seeing a total shift in how we optimize content. Classic SEO was all about ranking whole pages, tweaking for click-through rates, and fighting for those top 10 blue links. But today, we're stepping into generative engine optimization, or GO. AI models don't just pass along links, they synthesize real answers. They care about actual facts and usefulness over raw keyword density. Your new goal is to supply precise facts and optimize for citation frequency so your app gets directly quoted in AI overviews. To feed structured data directly to these AI engines, we use JSON-LD in the app router. Here is the exact playbook. 1. Create a JSON-LD structured data object, like an article or a product schema. 2. Safely stringify that JSON. The Next.js docs explicitly warn that basic JSON.stringify can leave you vulnerable to cross-site scripting, so scrub those HTML tags. 3. Embed that payload inside a native script tag right in your layout.js or page.js. And 4. Validate the output using the Google Rich Results test to make sure the AI can actually read what you wrote.
And this brilliantly illustrates that the technical side is only half the battle. Content structure is the rest of it. Generative engines heavily weigh clarity and hierarchy. Try to lead with a direct, one-sentence answer in the first 100 words. Wrap your content in semantic HTML. Use article, aside, nav tags so the models understand the relationships between text blocks. Keep your sections punchy with clear H2 tags followed by context. Oh, and to manage all this at scale, integrate a headless CMS like Stroppy to centralize your SEO fields and trigger static regeneration without ever touching the core code base.
Ultimately, the whole shebang culminates in generative engine optimization. GO is simply the practice of explicitly structuring and typing your facts. You are essentially building a direct bridge between your raw data and the AI language models, letting them parse, summarize, and most importantly, cite your content in real time.
Which brings us to the ultimate question for your own projects. We've seen how Next.js handles metadata so smartly, how PPR gives us that instant speed without sacrificing live data, and our JSON-LD feeds the new AI engines. Search has unequivocally moved from 10 blue links to AI-generated overviews. So, what does this all mean for you? Is your application genuinely ready for these modern AI-driven crawlers, or are you still building for the 2020 web? Take a hard look at your code base today and start putting these Next.js techniques to work. Thanks for joining me on the Explainer